So I've done a couple of videos in the past about my favourite gods, but never about my least favourite ones or ones that I just think are mediocre, so today we're going to cover the whole spectrum and make a tier list of my favourite gods, from the ones I love the most to ones I absolutely despise. Of course, this should go without saying, but it's the internet, so I'll say it anyway. This tier list is my own personal opinion and is not based on the power of the god or their meta relevance in any way. This is purely how much I enjoy playing and playing against the god, and because of that, it will likely be very biased toward gods I play a lot, mostly tanks and assassins, so sorry you hunter mains, though there will still be some outliers from other classes that I do really enjoy and will place very highly. So once again, this is based purely on the design of the god and how fun I think they are, not at all on the balance of the god. So these are my tiers. There's the perfect tier, which I literally wouldn't change a single thing about the god in terms of design, like maybe balance things I would change, but in terms of the core design of the god, I wouldn't change a single thing. The extremely fun tier, which would be very minor changes or tweaks, if anything. Sometimes some of these gods I wouldn't change at all either, but they're not quite perfect in my opinion. The great fun tier, which is some small changes could improve the god, but overall they're really fun for me. There's the pretty fun tier, which are above average, could maybe use some changes, but they're still pretty fun. The decent tier, which is basically the A tier of this tier list, they're very average for fun. I can enjoy them sometimes, but they're not like a particularly fun god for me. The meh tier, which is not terrible, like a little bit below average, but they could use some changes. The not that fun tier, which is they're playable for me, I can sometimes enjoy them, but they're not very much fun. The really unfun tier, which is I avoid playing these gods if I can. And the trash tier, which is I refuse to play them unless I get given them in Assault. Regardless of their meta relevance, they could be the best god in the game, and I would still refuse to play them because I hate them that much. So with that said, let's get into these rankings. So Achilles is pretty fun for me. He can be played both jungle and solo, which are two roles that I enjoy a lot. He does quite well in both of them, he has a lot of unique playstyles. I'd probably put him in either great fun or pretty fun. Probably great fun. I don't think Achilles needs too much changes, honestly, so I'll probably put him in the great fun tier. Arachne? Honestly, Arachne is... Everyone puts Arachne in like A or A plus tier for a lot of like power level tier lists, but honestly, I think Arachne is just decent average fun for me. He's a mage that's like pretty reliable. He has some like uniqueness in his kit with like his stun combos and his triple bombs and things like that. And if you can triple bomb over a wall in a jungle fight, it can be really fun when he just nukes people. AMC, I'm gonna put AMC in like playable but not very fun. Like I've played AMC in the past and had some fun, mainly with like double shield builds in solo, just trolling people. But in terms of like an actual ADC or maybe a mid laner, I really don't find AMC that fun. I feel like it's just place your highs and then box people with auto attacks, maybe slow them a little bit. I don't know, AMC just isn't that fun for me. Apwash, I'd probably put Apwash in decent fun. He can definitely work pretty well. He's like quite a unique mage in that he's one of those low mobility but very high burst damage mages. I've had a lot of fun in the past when the dirty bubble build was a thing, where you just build full tank and Magi's Blessing on mages because Apwash's corpses heal him for 1% of his health, so you could just heal infinitely from the corpses and never die, so that was really fun. Amaterasu, so... I think with armor, it's either perfect or extremely fun. No question about that. She's definitely going to be very high up on the tier list. I almost want to put her in perfect, but I'm just thinking if there's anything I would actually change about Amaterasu's design. I think since they changed the dash where you don't root yourself anymore, I actually wouldn't change anything, honestly. Aside from maybe, you know, balance changes and things. So I think I will put Amaterasu in the perfect tier. I really don't think I would change anything about Amaterasu. I think she's perfect the way she is. Anher? So Anher's one of the more fun ADCs to me. I like the sort of slightly more ability-based ADCs that sort of play off their abilities a lot more, like Anher, Ula, those types, because it feels like it's not just you're a left-click bot, you actually have like some abilities to hit. I'll probably put him in pretty fun, because in general I don't really enjoy ADCs, but Anher's definitely on like the upper tiers of ADCs that I would enjoy. Anubis. So in terms of actual design for Anubis, I want to put him in like great fun probably, because Anubis is really fun, like just being able to like 3-2 ult and just someone gets deleted and he can play a lot of objectives really well by just ulting them. He does insane damage and he's very easy to counter and he's not very good like in terms of meta relevance, but I feel like Anubis is a really fun god and that really shows with how many people play him, to be honest. Ao Kuang, so I mean Ao Kuang's not really a mage, he's more of an assassin. I kind of like him. I like the way he plays. He's played very differently in the past to the way he does now. Like, for a long time, Ao Kuang was played full burst with Polynomicon and you would 2-3 and then ult someone and you'd nuke them in like one hit. So he's had like unique playstyles in the past. I think I'll just put him in pretty fun. Like, if I'm looking at this, I don't think he's as fun as like Anubis, for example. He's probably on the tier of Anher, I'd say. Aphrodite. I honestly want to put Afro in trash tier. I hate playing Afro and I also hate playing against Afro. But I don't know, she's not that bad. I don't think I would completely refuse to play Aphro regardless of any other factors. Like, she's really strong right now, and if she got left open in ranked and I was mid, I'd probably pick her. So, yeah, in terms of if I would pick her just because she's really strong, I probably would. So, like, the trash tier is kind of reserved for picks that I would literally never play regardless of any other factors. And I guess I would play Aphrodite sometimes, but I really don't find her that fun. Mostly I hate playing against her, but playing as her is just like, oh, you spam the heal over and over again, you stun 3-2 and then you run away. It's not that fun for me. Apollo? I don't really like Apollo's playstyle. He seems like a little bit of too emphasized on split push with his passive and his ult. Like, when you're playing him in team fights where you don't, like, ult to rotate into the team fight, it feels like he has no ultimate, and that's not very fun. So I think I'll put him in meh. I don't really find Apollo that fun. Arachne? Arachne's probably on the same tier as Aphrodite, honestly. Like, she's not a god that I would refuse to play regardless of any other factors. I have played her and sometimes had fun. But she's a really snowbally god. I don't like the way she plays. I'm going to leave her in really unfun. Ares? So Ares can be pretty fun. I think he's probably average. Sometimes you can have a lot of fun on Ares and you can be kind of stomping, like almost carrying your team damage-wise, but then also, if Ares gets behind, he's not really that useful, and sometimes his ult just feels like it does nothing if everyone has beads or CC immune ults. Artemis? So I honestly think Artemis is one of the most fun hunters. I've played her a lot, and I mostly don't play her now because, one, I don't play very much ADC, and I play mostly Conquest now, and two, she's just never been that good. Like, there's been very few metas where Artemis has been good. I'll put her in great fun, though. I think she's about on the level of Anubis for me. She's one of my more fun hunters, in my opinion. The classic, like, Sobek-Artemis duo lane is always really fun, where you can, like, pluck people into traps and stuff, and hopefully the changes she got recently make her a lot more playable, because I do really enjoy playing Artemis. Arceo? She's either not that fun or really unfun. Probably not. I don't think she's as bad as Aphro and Arachne. I'll put her on the same tier as AMC. I feel like if I could put her in between, I'd do that, because AMC is not as bad as Arteo, but Arteo is not as bad as these two, so I just don't really like her design. Like, she spams abilities a lot, and that kind of happens with a lot of stand switches. The cripple is just completely A's to deal with. She's fairly fun to play, but to play against Arteo is just the worst. Athena? It's either on level with these guys here, or in her own tier. I think I'm going to put her here. Like, I don't think I'd change much about Athena, to be honest. Athena's really fun. She has, like, the really unique ultimate. The taunt is obviously, like, one of the most iconic support abilities in the entire game. You can just taunt someone, and if they don't have beads, they probably die. And you can group people up with it, because it's quite a unique CC in that way. You can, like, group people up into your mage ultimates and things. Yeah, I think I'd leave Athena there. But there's an argument for her to move down one tier as well, I think, because she could receive some changes, and I wouldn't mind. Awilix? So Awilix is really fun. She's quite a unique design. I'll probably put her here. Like, I don't think she's extremely fun, but she's definitely above average, I'd say. Like, the Feather Step has a lot of coolness where you can, like, dodge abilities and things like that, and the ult is obviously very unique. The Suku's quite unique as well. She has a very different kit to a lot of other assassins, which is why I think I find her more fun than some of the more generic ability-based assassins. Bacchus? So this might be a hot take, but I don't really find Bacchus that fun. Like, your 1 is basically not an ability, it's just something you press, like, every 10 seconds to keep yourself topped up, so you're basically working with 3 abilities, and I don't like gods that do that. Achilles kind of does the same thing, actually, but I really like the rest of Achilles' kit, and it pulls him up. I don't like gods that just have one ability that effectively does nothing. It's just something you press before you use your other abilities. Same thing with pre-rework Odin, actually. His shield didn't really feel like an ability. It just felt like something you use before you jump, and you didn't really have, like, a full kit of abilities. So that's something about Bacchus that I don't really like. But he can be fun. Like, sometimes, especially if you build, like, full damage mid-Bacchus or something, that can be pretty fun, just, like, nuking people with the ult and the 2, so he's not completely terrible, but not that fun for me. Bakasura, I'm going to put him probably on the tier with Arteo. Like, he's not as bad as these two again, but I feel like Bakasura is just sort of like a press 3 and then hold left click on people type of god. I don't really like gods that do that. Like, it's not no skill, but it kind of feels no skill, especially when you're playing against it. Like, if you don't have a movement ability or you've used it, he literally just holds left click on you and there's absolutely nothing you can do, which doesn't really feel that fun to me. To play as Bakasura can be kind of fun, but to play against Bakasura really pulls him down on this tier list because I'm kind of considering both here. Baron, so balance concerns aside, Baron has been pretty fun. I enjoy Baron. Quite a unique mage. I'd put him probably here. Probably with these guys. Pretty fun. Bastet, so after the rework I've not actually played very much Bastet, but I know that before the rework I didn't really like her, so I can't really comment too much. The ult does seem like it's improved her a bit, but I don't know. I'll put her in like, decent. Because before the rework, she'd have probably been here, but I imagine the ult change did make her better in terms of design, so yeah, I'll put her in the decent tier. Bellona, so this is a perfect, I think. I think she's the only god that I enjoy playing more than Amaterasu, and that I think is designed, like, better than Amaterasu. Mainly because she's a little bit more complex. But overall, these two are, like, two of my favourite gods of all time, and I probably won't change anything about either of them. Cabrakan? I don't think Cabrakan's that fun. If you play him in solo, it feels like he just presses 3 on the wave a lot and wins lane because of it. And then in team fights, you have like 2 stuns that DR each other for no reason. The ult kind of feels like it does nothing or everything, depending on who you're hitting with it. I'll put him here. I don't think he's that fun. Camazotz. So I'm mostly coming at this from a solo lane perspective, and I despise playing against Camazotz in solo. I want to put him here, but that's mainly just because he's bodying people in solo, like, and that's more of a balance concern than a design concern, really, so I'll put him here. If I was taking into account, like, the current meta, he'd probably be in really unfun or trash, because I absolutely despise playing against Camazotz solo, but as a jungler in, like, a normal meta where Kama's not S+, I'd probably put him, like, here, or maybe even, like, meta tier, so I'll leave him here for now. Cerberus? I don't really have an opinion on Cerberus. I don't really play him that much. I never really have issue playing against him. He seems alright, so I'll just put him in decent. Chronos, kind of the same thing. I never really play Chronos, but I never really have a problem playing against him. Put him there. Chak's really boring. I really don't like playing as Chak. Playing against him's okay, but he doesn't really do too much other than, like, win solo in a lot of matchups. Even in some matchups, he doesn't win, though. I'll probably put him here. Like, Chak just doesn't really do anything, I feel like. Like, his ult's pretty cool, but the rest of his kit's just really kind of boring. Changa's either here or here. I don't really like her. I'll put her here because she has, like, some unique designs in her kit, and sometimes hitting, like, those big 3-4 man stuns can be really good. The 2 has, like, some pretty high skill caps, so yeah, she's probably one of the more fun healers in my opinion. I just generally don't like healers, that's why Aphrodite's all the way down here. Chernobog? Probably here. Maybe even here. I don't like Chernobog at all. He's one of my least favourite hunters to play as and to play against. It feels like his ult is the most annoying ability in the entire game, in my opinion. That might be a bit of a hot take. I might have some other abilities that are more annoying than that, but I really don't like Chernobog ult, mainly because, like, even if he's not ulting to you, it still global slows you for no reason. So, like, I've been walking back to lane in solo, and I've missed full waves because the enemy Chernobog ulted to, like, mid lane. And it's like, come on. Do I really deserve that? Yeah, I don't really like this god at all. And the fact that he can hide in walls and dodge everything you have. I don't know, I don't like him. Chiron's alright. I don't dislike him, I don't like him. He's just a pretty bog standard, like, ability-based hunter. Chronos, kind of same thing, honestly. Then again, I don't really like playing against Chronos as much, mainly because his ult's really annoying. Yeah, I'll put Chronos here. Kukulkan, so prior to recently, I'd have probably put him a little lower, but I've actually been playing a lot more of him in ranked recently, and I'm enjoying him a lot. Like, the rage mechanic's really unique, his ult is really fun to use as, like, an engage in team fights. He's fun to play in lane. I think I'll put him here, actually. I think before I would have put him in, like, decent or maybe pretty fun, but I've been playing him more recently, and I find him a lot of fun. Cupid, I don't like playing against Cupid. Like, the ult feels really oppressive sometimes, even though it's very easily countered by just, like, a sprint. Yeah, I'll put Cupid here. I don't really think he's that fun. Daji, so despite Daji being really strong and kind of, like, not that fun because of that, I think if you discount the fact that she's really strong right now, I'll probably put her here. Discordia, so I really don't like Discordia. I don't like the overall design they went for with her. I feel like she could have been a little bit more serious than Mischievous. But that's just, like, a personal gripe. But her kit, in terms of, like, how it actually plays, I don't like it either. Like, the ult's really annoying, the 2's really annoying. The 1, like, sometimes snipes you and is really hard to juke. She can spam a lot with the 3. Yeah, I think I'll put her here. She's one of my, like, not one of my least favourite mages, but, like, she's definitely below average in my opinion. Hurling Shen, probably here. He's been nerfed so much, and I don't really understand why. Like, I wish they'd just change him either into an assassin and really focus on his jungle viability with, like, secondary solo and support, or nerf his jungle viability so that he can actually be good in solo and support, because they keep nerfing him over and over again, and it's because he gets played in jungle. It's not because he's strong in solo, so eventually they're just going to nerf him so much because of his jungle relevance that he becomes completely irrelevant in solo, and I don't like that. But in terms of his overall design, Erlang's one of my favourite gods ever, so I can't put him lower than this. And I guess like a rework into an assassin or big changes nerfing his jungle isn't minor changes, but I like Hurling Shen too much that I have to put him in this tier. Fafnir, so Fafnir's 2 like automatically makes him more than average fun in my opinion. Fafnir's 2 is a really cool ability, like especially in dragon form you can use it to like siege or burn objectives really well. I think I'll put him here, he's probably one of my like more favourite guardians. Fenrir, I don't like Fenrir. I'll put him here. It feels like he's really matchup dependent, like if you pick him into cripples or gods with jumps you get ruined, but if you pick him into gods with only dashes and no cripples, like Thoth or something, he can do insanely well. Plus it feels like he's just built to farm people that don't buy beads under tower, like if the enemy jungler buys blink and not beads, you just pull them under a tower and they're dead. Or he can gank solo and pull a enemy solo under tower. It feels like he relies too much on cheese basically. Freya, probably here as well. I don't like Freya very much. They've changed her so much and none of the changes have really helped. I think she needs a full rework to be honest, which maybe warrants putting her here because I also think Arachne needs a full rework. I don't know. I'll leave her here for now because I don't think I hate her quite as much as Aphro and Arachne. Like I can play Freya and enjoy her. And playing against her is not that bad I guess. Ganesha, so Ganesha's a pretty quintessential support in my opinion. I never hate to play against a Ganesha and I never hate to have one on my team either. I guess I'll put him here actually. I was going to put him in average because of that, but the fact that I'm always happy to see a Ganesha means I should probably put him in pretty fun. Geb. So Geb is probably here. He's not quite extremely fun, I don't think. I think I enjoy like Athena support more than I enjoy Geb support, but Geb is definitely really fun. Like, obviously this is mainly because of the shield. Like, the blink ults and things are nice, but the shield is just what makes Geb and what makes him really fun. He can be a bit annoying to play against, but he's not that bad, and it's mainly just like, that's his playstyle basically. You have to play around Geb shield. Guan's like mediocre for me. Maybe even meh. I don't enjoy Guan that much as a solo laner. I know he sees playing jungle and support sometimes, but I've never really played him there. His ult feels like it either destroys you or doesn't really do much, almost like Fenrir in a way. If you can like jump out of it or get away somehow, it really kind of does nothing, but if it hits you for the full duration of it, it can one-shot you. Hachiman, so much like Kukulkan, I've been playing a lot more Hachiman recently because I've been trying to learn ADC to a higher level, and I actually find him really fun, one of the more fun hunters in my opinion. Probably not on the level of Artemis yet though, I'll put him here. But I think the more I play Hachiman, the more he might climb up this tier list, honestly. Hades, I think he honestly goes here. He could go in the not that fun, but I think he's really unfun, honestly. I avoid playing Hades a lot of the time, and I really, really hate playing against Hades in solo. It's the most boring matchup ever. He just presses 1 or 2 on the wave and then 3s it and insta-clears it and full heals his wave, and you have to stand on the tower doing nothing. Like, if the Hades player's good, he pretty much auto-wins lane against almost every single matchup, and if you're in casuals and you can't counter-pick it, it's just really boring. Like, he's not particularly good, he's just very boring to play against in solo, and that's kind of the only role he really plays. Hebo? So I don't like playing against Hebo, but I do like playing as Hebo. He's kind of fun, especially with Blink. Yeah, you can Blink 3 ult and someone just insta-dies. So I'll probably put him in decent. Mostly because if it was playing against him, I'd put him here. If it was playing as him, I'd put him here. So I'll average him out to decent. Heim, probably here. I don't like Heim's design, really. And that's not just because he's very unbalanced, I just generally don't like the way he's designed. His ult feels really annoying, the horn has way too much range, although I guess that could be nerfed. The whole vision mechanic just makes him almost impossible to gank, and the fact that he can just teleport out of fights with the crystals is really frustrating, like if you're trying to gank him. Yeah, I don't like Heim. Hel, same thing. Mostly because she's a healer, I really dislike playing against healers. Like, even though anti-heal exists, it still just feels really annoying, especially when people play Hel solo. That shit's boring as fuck. She just kind of sits in the tower, clears wave, and then becomes relevant late game. Hera, I kind of have no opinion on Hera. I don't really dislike playing against her very much, but I don't like playing her much either. I'll just put her in decent. Hercules, so Hercules is insanely fun to play. Some of the stuff he can pull off is ridiculous, but to play against, he's a little less fun. So he's in one of these two. I think I probably do enjoy him as much as I enjoy Kukulkan, so I'll put him here for now. Horace, once again, kind of no opinion. I've never really played Horace to like a significant level, but I don't really dislike seeing him, so I'll put him here. So as I've been learning ADC, Hu Yi has been one of the gods that I've been playing the most, and I think he's honestly extremely fun. I think I'll put him here. Like, the whole triple bounce mechanic is obviously really fun, but like the ulting and like stunning people into the ult, and like you can ult and jump like ahead of someone to knock them backwards into the ult and keep them in it. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with Hu Yi that's like kind of raises the skill cap, and I feel like a bad Hu Yi compared to a really good Hu Yi is like a massive difference, which in my opinion warrants a high placement for a god, because that's good design in my opinion. Bats. I don't really enjoy Bats that much. He kind of feels like a bit of an ult bot. And they made his ult 2-minute cooldown now, which is... I guess it makes him a bit less of an ult bot, but he just ults less often. He's still kind of an ult bot. Like, you pick on Bats for his ult, not for anything else, really. I guess he clears jungle quite fast early, but really you're picking him for the ult. But the ult's really fun. So I'll probably put him here. The god that shall not be named. She feels like kind of just an early game bully that's quite easy to dive late game, especially if you burn her ult. The changes to her 3 made her a little better in my opinion though. I'll put her in here for now. Izanami's really boring. I don't like Izanami, I'm gonna put her here. Giannis is super fun. I don't think he's perfect, but he's probably on the upper tier of extremely fun in my opinion, along with Hurling Shen. They're like, Hurling Shen and Giannis are both like almost perfect in my opinion. But yeah, Giannis probably could go for a few changes and I wouldn't mind it. I don't think there's nothing I would change about Giannis, but overall he's extremely fun. Like, you can kind of almost play him anywhere and just have a lot of fun with Giannis, like one-shotting people with the ult through a wall into 2 combo. His global mobility is really useful. I really enjoy playing Giannis. Jingwei, probably down here. She's really boring to play against because of how passive she can play. Like, not every Jingwei main plays extremely passive, but the ones that do are really boring because they can just, like, dash away from anything, even knockups. They can ult away if they get caught out of position. They can fly back to lane with the passive and miss no farm. And then they get to late game and they crit you for like 1,000 damage. To play as Jingwei is okay though, because she is capable of aggressive plays. It's just she's so defensive oriented that a lot of people play her that way, and it's kind of boring in my opinion. Yom. So I don't really play Yom very much, but I don't particularly dislike playing against him. Mostly in solo. I don't think he really sees too much play in support anymore, but yeah, I'll put him here. Kali. Probably meh. Or maybe not that fun. Despite the amount I play Kali, I mostly play Kali so that I can carry plebs. Like, playing the god itself isn't really that rewarding. It's just good sometimes. I'll put her here. Like, she's not completely terrible. I think she's a little bit more skill-oriented than Bacchus. But for the most part, like, playing against Kali sucks because it's just like, you need to stomp her early game because if she gets to 20 minutes and gets like 4 or 5 items online, she could just hold left click on you and she wins. Which especially sucks for like tanks with low mobility. Like some supports, just if you don't have a good team, Kali can just stun you and run you down because you don't have a mobility to get away from her. Khepri, so playing against Khepri can be annoying with the ult, but it's kind of the same thing as Geb where it's just part of his design. I think Khepri's kind of fun actually. I'll probably put him here. Like, you can pull off some pretty crazy plays with the ult, and it feels insanely good to get off a nice res, so. King Arthur? So this is kind of more weighted towards how much I enjoy playing the god than playing against them, so I'll put King Arthur quite high. Maybe here. Because I really enjoy playing Arthur, but playing against him kind of sucks sometimes, because he kind of just farms 1050 gold, buys Glad Shield, and wins the game, so. And there's not a whole lot of counterplay to him, especially in casuals when you can't counterpick him. Like, if in ranked, if you can counterpick an Arthur in solo, he can be very easy to deal with. But in casuals, all you really have is like anti-heal to deal with him. But he does have counters, like he's not terribly unfun to play against, and I really enjoy playing him, so I'll put him here. Cuckoo? Meh. No opinion really. I don't play Cuckoo. I don't particularly hate playing against him. He was very strong recently, but taking out balance concerns, I think he's just decent. Khumba? I don't like Khumba. To play against, he's just the worst, and to play as, he's not that fun either. I'll probably put him here. Like, all of his CC is just really obnoxious. The root's not too bad, but like the mez and the ult are just the worst. Kuzumbo? Same thing really. I don't like playing against Kuzumbo. Playing as him's okay, so maybe I'll put him here. But it feels like all Kuzumbo players do is like run around trying to push you through the wave or push you into a tower, and that's their entire early game strategy. And like his 2's an ability that doesn't really do too much. It feels like you just kind of press it if you're taking damage. Loki. So I know that almost everyone watching this video would probably put Loki in like trash tier or really unfun tier, but I enjoy playing Loki myself sometimes. And playing against him's not too bad when you know how to counter him, but I'll put him here. Just because playing against Loki is extremely boring, especially if he goes solo, which is where Loki sees kind of the most play. Because all he'll do is just decoy the wave and then run away. Maybe I should put him here. Yeah, I'll put him here mostly because I'm a solo main, and playing against Loki in solo is the most excruciating boredom I've ever faced in my life. It's kind of like a similar thing to Hades, but like reversed. Where Hades just insta-clears the wave and you have to sit on the tower, Loki just sits on the tower and decoys the wave and does nothing. And then, like, if your team's bad and doesn't know how to deal with him, he'll just one-shot them late game. So yeah, he's probably here, actually. Not quite trash, like, I won't never pick Loki. I can pick Loki and have some fun with him, but yeah, he's pretty trash. Medusa? No opinion, really. I think she's just decent. I don't dislike seeing Medusas. The ult has some pretty nice skill cap. The dash feels really bad where it can get blocked and things like that, but yeah, she's alright. Mercury's really fun. I'll probably put him here. I really like playing Mercury. Playing against him's not too bad either. He can perform some like interesting ganks that a lot of other junglers can't, where he kind of comes from like behind your own towers into lane and things like that. Whereas a lot of other junglers have to come from behind. So yeah, I enjoy Mercury. Merlin, probably just decent or maybe pretty fun, because I do like playing Merlin a lot, but playing against him can sometimes be pretty obnoxious. I'll put him here. Mulan, so I've talked about Mulan before in a dedicated video. If some of the changes that I suggested in that video actually make it to her kit, she might be like pretty fun or maybe even great fun. But I think for now she's just decent because she has a lot of problems in her kit that I don't like. Like the 3's really awkward, the ult roots you for like 2 or 3 seconds after you cast it and you just get nuked. So yeah, I'll put her here for now until like some of the issues with her kit are fixed, but it doesn't look like they're gonna fix them. They've had a long time to do it and they still haven't. It's a pretty simple change. Najah, probably decent as well. Like you can one-shot people with the ult, which is kind of funny if you're going like a Deathbringer build. Yeah, I'll put him here. Najah's alright. Neith's pretty boring. The only interesting thing she has is the ult, and getting ulted like as a solo main. Just getting Neith ulted across the map and then ganked by the jungler, it kind of sucks. I know that's part of Neith's kit, but yeah, I'll put her in here. Neith's not that fun. Nem's really fun though. Probably here. She's been weak for a while in terms of meta relevance, but in terms of overall design, like her ult does things that no other assassin ult can do. She plays quite differently. Her AA cancels are really rewarding. Nike's boring. I don't like Nike. Just feels like she doesn't have any spice in her kit. Like she doesn't really make any interesting plays that you'd enjoy making. I feel like she just kind of wins long fights, mostly because of her ult and the fact that Ren does so much damage. But overall, I don't enjoy playing Nike. Nox, same thing. Nox does actually have flashy plays, but it feels like she relies almost entirely on hitting the 2-1 combo, and if your Nox can't hit it, she's trash, but if she hits it 100% of the time, she's an absolute god. The ult's really cool. The ult and the 3 are 2 things I really like about Nox, but the passive, the 1 and the 2 need changing in my opinion. Nuwa, kinda boring. I have a, like, biased opinion about New War because I liked Old War so much. I played a lot of Old War and they changed her and I don't think it needed changing too much, like maybe just tweaks. I mean, her kit's not that bad though, like I don't think she belongs in these like really low tiers. Feels like her ult could be changed, it doesn't really do anything. Odin, I actually don't like post-rework Odin very much. Not because of balance concerns, but because of the way he plays. His cooldowns are so low that it's just kind of like spam the 3 for damage and then shield and jump away if you're ever in trouble. Like he doesn't even play for the bird bomb anymore, which is kind of a hype play, even though I didn't like the design of bird bomb. Like now he just uses the shield for sustain and then uses the jump to get away and he's almost unkillable. And Odin Ring is still like an annoying ability in my opinion. Olarun, so I fucking hate playing against Olarun ult. And playing as him doesn't seem that fun either. But I guess he has some unique things, so I'll put him here. Osiris, so I kind of like playing him. Playing against him in solo is kind of boring. It depends how the Osiris plays, like... It's almost kind of like Jingwei in a way. Like, Osiris has a lot of ways to just kind of slap you and not really do anything of use, but some Osiris players can make really good use of him and it can be a fun matchup. So I'll put him in decent. Pele? Pele's pretty fun. She has like a lot of hype plays that you can do. The ult feels really good to use. I'll put her in pretty fun. Persephone? Fuck Persephone, dude. If I was considering balance, I would literally put her in trash. Because she's the most unbalanced, overpowered mage we've seen in a long time, and Harris refused to nerf her because she only performs at the top level, apparently. So if I was considering that, I would literally never pick her and would never want to see anyone pick her. It's a good job she's perma-banned in ranked right now. But if we're not considering balance, I'll probably just put her here. Like, I still really dislike the design of her kit. The ult's super annoying. The plants are super annoying. The 1 has way too much range. I guess the only thing I like about her is her 3. And that's mostly because it doesn't do too much other than activate the annoying plants. I almost want to put her here, honestly. But I don't think she's more unfun than like Afro or Arachne, so I'll put her here. But yeah, if I was considering balance, she'd definitely be in the bottom of the bottom. Poseidon's quite fun. Like you can play around the Kraken in quite a few ways. Like Beads and Aegis both counter the Kraken because you can Beads jump away or Beads run out of the Whirlpool Cripple. And you can just Aegis it. So he has ways to be countered, but like hitting multi-man Krakens is some of the most fun you can have in Smite, so I'll put him here for now. Raijin's okay. I'll put him in average. Like he's a fairly decent mage. There's nothing wrong with Raijin particularly. Like the ult has some interesting depth, but he's not very fun. Ra, probably here. Like obviously it's the iconic Ra snipes. Hitting them is so much fun. And even though he is a healer, Ra kind of plays a lot differently to a lot of other healers. He more so kind of like backs off and sustains between fights rather than like sustaining in fight, which I don't really like as much. And like the rest of Ra's kit really pulls him up. I think it's really fun. Ramaa, so after the changes, Ramaa's probably up here. But I haven't really had too much experience with him. I might leave him here for now, because it'll probably feel a lot more fun after the changes, but I haven't really tried him too much. But a lot of his kit is kind of basic. Rat, so Rat's like, you can play around his early game, but his early game is really oppressive sometimes. He's fun to play, I think I put him in like my top 3 most fun gods to play, but if I'm considering playing against him, maybe he's just here. Or maybe even here. Yeah, I'll put him here for now, because I really do like playing Rat. It's just, playing against him can sometimes be a bit awkward, because he power spikes so hard in the early game that he becomes pretty much unfightable and can carry games on his own. Raven's really fun. I never dislike seeing a Raven picked on either team, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of outplay potential you can do with Raven, and he's quite a skillful god, I think. There's a lot of different ways you can use his kit and stuff. I enjoy playing Raven. I enjoy seeing a Raven on my team. I'm okay playing against a Raven, so yeah, I'll put him here. Scylla's probably here as well. Not quite as fun as like Giannis and Hurling Shen and Athena, but definitely very fun. One of the more fun mages in my opinion. Actually, I'm looking at this, like I think Scylla's as fun as Anubis, but she's more fun than Ra. I think I might move Ra down to here. Yeah, Ra's probably on the level of Poseidon, I'd say, but not on the level of Scylla and Anubis for me. Yeah, that makes more sense. Serket's boring. Maybe not here, maybe here. She just kind of does the same thing every time, like she jumps in, full combos you, and you die. I don't know, Serket just feels like she doesn't really do anything interesting. She just kind of nukes people and that's it. Like she has so much mobility that she's really difficult to catch when you're playing against her. I don't know, I don't really like her that much. Set, so once again, I've not really played any Set. I don't really have an opinion playing as him, and I don't really hate playing against him either, so I'll put him here. Skadi sucks. She relies way too much on Calder, and it feels like Calder does like half the work, and she does the other half, where it should be like 80-20. Sobek, probably here. He's really broken right now, which would pull him down a bit, because he can kind of just stalemate lanes in solo, and he's quite boring to play against, but to play as, Sobek's really fun. Especially in support, because in solo, often it's just like you're playing fairly passive and stalemating the lane. But once you get out of the laning phase, like team fighting as Sobek is some of the most fun you can have on a Guardian, so... And I'd say he's probably on the level of Athena, like they're about similar in terms of fun level for me. Sol? So after all her changes and stuff, I think Sol's probably just decent. Wukong's boring. Maybe here, I don't know. Feels like Wukong can just, he's almost like Jingwei in a way, sort of like the Jingwei of solo, where he's just infinitely safe, he's never really going to lose lane. You just kind of press 1 on the wave a lot, and if you get low, you 3 away, and if you get low and don't have your 3, you ult. And it feels like he's almost impossible to kill, but doesn't really do anything either, so I'm going to put him here. He's like one of my least favourite matchups in solo. Susanoo? Probably here. I like playing Susanoo, but I don't really like playing against him too much, so it probably averages out to decent. Sylvanas? I don't know, Sylvanas is okay. His lack of mobility can suck sometimes because you can get really focused out, especially if you get counterpicked, but that's just kind of part of the god. The pulls are really fun. I'll put him here. I was considering maybe him pretty fun, but I don't know. I don't enjoy him like probably as much as I'd enjoy Khepri or Ganesh. Terra, same thing. She's just a decent support. I never really play her that much, but I don't particularly mind seeing her on my team. Thana's quite fun. Probably here. Same as Daji and Pele, but not as fun as like Raven, Mercury, I'd say. Like, he can snowball early games. Like, he's quite unique in that he's a really, really strong jungler early game, but I think he does rely on Death Scythe a little too much. I know that's kind of his whole gimmick, like he one-shots you with Death Scythe, but the rest of his kit's a little bit weaker, but in general, I feel like it is a bit sort of like hit Death Scythe and win, miss Death Scythe and lose, but he can be really fun, like snowballing games. Morrigan, so I guess if I consider bugs in terms of her design, which I guess bugs are part of the design. I mean, they're not part of the intended design, I don't know. If I'm considering bugs, Mori goes like here because, or maybe even here, because you get a bug and it fucks you over and you lose. But if I'm being kind and not considering bugs as part of the intended design because they're not, I guess I'll put her here. Maybe even here. Like if she was completely bug free, Mori probably goes here, I think. Thor's really fun. Probably on the same level as like Raven, Nemesis, Mercury for me. Maybe even here, but I don't think he's probably here. He's a really fun jungler, like the global ult's really fun, the combos that you can do are really nice. I don't particularly hate playing against Thor either, to be honest. Thoth's kind of boring. Like, he relies so much on lines, and if your Thoth can't hit the lines, then he sucks. His range is kind of ridiculous, like he can just poke you from miles away, but if you can get on him, he just dies instantly. Tyr, so Tyr's boring as hell to play against, but pretty fun to play as. Especially with the builds people are going now. Not full movement speed, but like a lot of movement speed, and then they just heal and run away. It's really boring, so I'll put him here for now. Ulla is probably my favourite hunter. Like, balance concerns right now aside, because he's probably one of the strongest hunters, I'd probably put him on the level with Hu Yi. Like, he's not up here, but he's probably a little better than Hu Yi. Like, if there was a border tier between these two, that's probably where Ulla would be. Like I said, I enjoy ability-based hunters, or hunters that can play off of their abilities and make plays like Hu Yi a lot more than I value just, like, really standard auto-attack hunters, so yeah, he's up here. Vamana, so I really don't play Vamana that much, but he is quite unique among warriors. But it also does have a similar feeling to, like, Kali, for example, where you just kind of walk people down holding left click. He's not that bad though, I'll put him in balanced. Vulcan's really fun. I don't really like playing Vulcan myself, but I always love to see a Vulcan either on my team or on the enemy team, just because he's really interesting and like hype to see played. Like, you can make some incredibly hype plays with Vulcan, and he's a very high skill god in terms of like hitting your abilities correctly. So yeah, even though I don't enjoy playing Vulcan that much, I'm still going to put him here because I really enjoy seeing Vulcan. Expel? Expel's alright. Probably on the level of like Hachiman and Anhur, I'd say. Or maybe even here, but he's kind of boring. He's more just like bowlers early game. You hold left click on the wave and then press 4 if a team fight's happening. Like, his kit's not that interesting, but he can do a lot of work. I'll put him here. Xingqian, I don't know. He's alright. I don't really have any problems with Xingqian, but he's not that fun. Yemoja. So if I'm removing myself from the balance concerns here, because she's been probably one of the best gods in the game since her release, and they refuse to nerf her, probably because she doesn't perform in pleb bronze games. But that aside, maybe here. She has some interesting abilities. She's quite a cool design in that she's like a healer-focused support. Ymir. So he's quite basic, but after the changes, I think Ymir's going to be a lot more fun. I've seen a lot more Ymirs like being successful in ranked since the changes. The wall's quite interesting. I'll probably put him here. Probably about on the level of Ganesh, Fafnir, Khepri. Zeus, I don't like the way Zeus plays. I know he's kind of designed to be like a Protect the King style character where you just all group up around him, keep him alive, and he puts out an insane amount of damage. I guess that's not really a problem with his design. I just don't really like it that much. He's not a bad design, but I don't think he's that fun. And Zhonghui, he's sort of had a roller coaster with how strong he's been. Like, he's often trash and he's often extremely broken. But balance aside, I think he's just here. So yeah, that's my tier list. Once again, obviously this is very biased. You see a lot of tanks, a lot of warriors and guardians up here, and a lot of mages down here. But that's just how I am with the game. I enjoy certain characters and I don't enjoy certain characters. But like I said, some can break the mold. There's like 2 hunters up here. There's a couple of mages up here as well. Some I do enjoy, some I don't. In terms of most like favorite and least favorite character, I'd say I probably think Bellona's a little more fun than Amaterasu for me. And then least favorite, if we're taking balance concerns into account, it's 100% Persephone. If we're not taking balance concerns, it's probably a 2-way tie between Arachne and Aphro. I don't like either of those. But yeah, that's it for my tier list. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, I mean, your thoughts on this tier list will probably be very different because every player is different. So, like, let me know your favourite gods down below, I guess, because you can't really comment on, like, the actual tier list itself because it's completely my own opinion. It's not like a balanced tier list where you can say, oh, I think this god should be moved up or down 1 tier. Like, you can't really say, oh, I think you should move Bellona down a tier. It's like, no, I think she's fun, so she deserves to be up there. But let me know your favourite gods and least favourite gods down below. Some will probably agree. Like, I reckon Loki's probably going to be among people's least favourite gods, but leave those down below, and I'll catch you guys in another video later on. Have a great day, stay safe, and peace out, you nerds.